Hey guys, it's Pineapple, and today we're going to talk about some potential breaking news in the world of My Hero Academia, and something that'll both excite one side of the fanbase while also worrying another. There was an interview with Masahiro Mukai and Kenji Nagasaki, the two directors of the My Hero Academia anime, at a digital anime convention called Otaquest. Mukai, of course, is a more recent addition to the team since he came on to direct Season 4. We're going to get into some of what the interview discusses, and talk about why it seems like My Hero Academia seems secured for the foreseeable future, with the likelihood of new movies seeming higher and higher. I want to remind you guys you can follow me on Twitter at VocalPineapple to keep up with my random text adventures, or you can hit the subscribe button and click notify in the drop down menu to keep up with me on YouTube. With that out of the way, let's get right into it after that intro. Hit it! Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you to @Seki-sen on Twitter, who interpreted parts of this interview on their page and sent the timeline into chaos. It sparked a whole lot of conversation about whether or not new movies could ruin the future of MHA or make it just a bit brighter. But let's get into the interview before we start discussing both sides of that argument. During the interview, we learned a whole lot of interesting things about the production of the anime, like the true reason why Season 4 has a new director. Mukai came in as a director to lessen the burden on Kenji Nagasaki, who got sick from overworking himself due to the workload between My Hero Academia Season 3 and My Hero Academia's first movie, The Two Heroes. He worked on both of those projects at the same time, and Season 3 still came out really good, so that just goes to show you how hard that man was working to hold everything together as much as possible for the sake of the production. During their virtual interview, they also mentioned that Horikoshi seems to be in constant communication with the team, and even tells them about plot points that haven't happened yet in the manga. This allows the anime team to include anime-only moments that foreshadow or at least tease future events that we might not even be aware of, only for the true value of those scenes to be revealed later on. I saw a post on Twitter that mentioned how Kurogiri and Aizawa have back-to-back scenes in the first My Hero opening, and while I'm not sure if that itself is a bit of purposeful foreshadowing, I'm excited to see the fandom trying to comb over the anime to find bits and pieces of hints for future moments, since that's practically what I do every day for the manga anyway. Getting a little deeper into the quirks of MHA's production, no pun intended, we learned that there are other animators that are also allowed to storyboard their own animation, not just Yutaka Nakamura. This means that some members of the team, not just one, are given a lot of freedom over how they approach a scene, since they don't always have to animate a storyboard that's provided to them by someone else. If you've noticed, Yutaka Nakamura usually goes pretty crazy with his scenes, and he can get pretty creative with some of his cuts. Now, some people prefer shots looking exactly like they do in the manga, but while that is really nice sometimes because Hori's art is amazing, I do really enjoy it when the animators get to flex with their own storyboards and recreate manga moments faithfully, while also getting to add their own creative spin on it. Now, lastly, before we get to the main reason that we're talking about this interview, I just wanted to add in the fact that apparently, according to Seki-sen's interpretation, Mukai admits that adapting Overhaul's arc into the anime was a pain, and he was actually crying at times when drawing storyboards. But that might also be related to the dark subject matter that the arc covered, and I'm not exactly sure which context the crying relates to. I definitely hope he's gotten all the time that he's needed to recover from the first half of the season, and who knows, maybe directing the Culture Festival served as a nice injection of happiness for him and the team, which they're gonna need because the chaos that's coming in the second half of Season 5, and especially Season 6, is definitely going to have them firing off on full blast. To deal with that, there are two different teams working on the anime and the movies. The way that Bones' studio has been explained to me is that it's a studio with a bunch of sub-studios or teams. Some of the sub-studios are dedicated to a multitude of other anime like Kekai Sensen or Mob Psycho, but the Bones studio that works on My Hero Academia is always working on My Hero Academia specifically. Now, that's not to say that those animators and staff don't work on other projects, but that's just to say that the focus of this portion of Bones' workforce is focused on the My Hero Academia franchise. Instead of, let's say, Bones Studio C working on My Hero Academia while they also work on Mob Psycho Season 3, this studio actually uses its two teams to work on the My Hero Academia anime, while another team works on the My Hero Academia movies. Now, according to Seki-sen's interpretation of the interview, from the way that they were talking, it seems like it was pretty obvious that there are more movies to come. Now, that's something that I've believed ever since Yonko tweeted that My Hero Academia was going to have 10 movies overall, which you can learn about by clicking here and watching my video on the topic. With the success of the movies thus far and the quality that we've seen, I feel like there was absolutely no way that they wouldn't come back with another movie, and it seems like we can expect another one to drop in the future from the way that they were talking in this interview, because it sounds like the movie team is still something that exists, so that implies that they're still working on movies. As I said in the beginning of this video, there are two main camps of thought that I saw today on Twitter and in various other comment sections about this news, but the two main ones that I mentioned at the beginning of this video are pretty dominant. There are those that are excited and there are those that are worried. Now, it's not hard to see why most of the fandom is going to be excited at the news of more My Hero Academia movies. My Hero Academia movies are becoming an anime blockbuster event, with the movies performing really well and receiving wide praise from the fans. My Hero is one of the few anime franchises that is still getting fully dubbed anime movies, so seeing the support and the force that Toho is putting behind keeping the series still relevant in multiple different mediums is good cause to be enthusiastic. With that said though, I do think it'd be foolish to completely cold shoulder the side of the community that have genuine concerns for what the news of more My Hero Academia movies mean for the anime. I know some of you are really worried about the My Villain Academia arc and the Class 1B versus Class 1A arc looking wonky once they're animated. And I'll be honest and admit, I do have some of those worries too. But instead of being pessimistic like I tend to be sometimes with these things, I actually am still feeling pretty positive about Season 5 and how it's going to look. My Hero Academia Season 4 had issues because the team was not only split between people working on the movie, but as Seki-sen points out in this thread, there was also tons of staff that went to go work on Carol and Tuesday, which was a really important project for Bones, and other stuff like Fire Force as well. This year, it doesn't seem like there are quite as many things on Bones' plate besides MHA as far as we know, and the team now has the experience of working on a season with the staff split everywhere. So I think that experience will definitely help them better manage the complications of production that comes with managing ever-changing animator schedules. That's the best case scenario. But I think at worst, we could see a season similar in production to Season 4. If this was the case, what would we be facing when MHA returns? Well, if Season 5 follows the same pattern as Season 4, we'll have a filler episode followed by an episode to wrap up Endeavor's Pro Hero arc. Then we'll start the 1A versus 1B training match, and even if the production team is spread thin for that section of the season, I think some key battles like Shinso's matches and Bakugo's match are gonna look great. And I don't think the series has ever failed us with fire animation, so Shoto versus Tetsu should also look really nice, I think. Black Whip is on the Season 5 teaser image, so you know they're probably gonna go really hard on that, and that's a really important part of the story. But I do expect Deku's Dream World to look really crappy again because, you know, the background team in My Hero is just... ugh. One of the main worries that most people have, though, is about the arc that follows this. My Villain Academia is personally my favorite arc in the series, maybe besides the current one that we're on right now, and I think that everyone agrees that this arc deserves all the love the team can possibly give it. My Villain Academia is a turning point in the series and has a different tone and point of view from the rest of the series, so I think everyone's been really excited to see how the anime adapts the dark and moody vibes in this arc that then descend into wide-spreading destruction. But it's really hard to be excited for that kind of stuff, you know, because all of that excitement hinges on the studio acing that arc. Thankfully, I think even if we do see a repeat of last season's production troubles, My Villain Academia does have some hope. Because if you recall, the second half of Season 4 featured a bump of quality because much of the team had returned back from working on other projects. If at worst we can expect this again, that means that it's possible that we can expect great high-end versus Endeavor tier animation for the climax of the My Villain Academia arc, with other really good moments of animation for the smaller League of Villains battles that happen. For me, people's second worry and the thing that I want to know about the most though, is whether or not they'll censor certain aspects of the story, and if so, how they'll do it in a way that still kind of gets everything that's happening across to the audience with the same impact that Horikoshi intended for it to have. They could always go balls to the wall and go for it, adapting Shigaraki's backstory just like it is in the manga, but something tells me that we're in for a few changes to how those events are presented. Either way, I see the season closing out with the Endeavor training arc and the cliffhanger of the day the heroes vanish from the streets to set up Season 6 to be war arc centric. If you agree or you have hope for Season 5 in the future movies, let me know in the comment section below. But if you're worried over the thought that Season 5 might not be as good as it can be, also let me know in the comment section and let's talk about it. This is Pineapple, I can't wait to see what you guys think. Catch me soon with a new theory. Peace.